Do you open it up? Do you open it up? No? The meeting? Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Township of Mapleton Committee of Adjustment. Welcome to everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Thank you. And the first item of business will be appointing a chair. And I'm actually looking for a nomination, please.
Through you, Chair, I would nominate Lori Woodham for a 4-year appointment.
Do we have a seconder? Peg and Bob. Any further nominations? We'll just have a show of hands then. For Lori, show of hands to see those in support. Thank you. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was it 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years. Thank you.
You can take over, Lori.
Thank
very
you.
much.
So I will be following the agenda that's before you today. And under our next thing is regrets, and I see we have a full committee. And this is the first 4-year term for this committee of adjustment with our members, member Sheik, member Dumering, member Stanners, member Kiomo, and myself, Lori Woodham. So we look forward to 4 years of making decisions for the benefit of Mapleton Township. So at this time, I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer if there's any calls for deferral, withdrawal of any matters before the committee.
We have none. Thank you.
And is there any changes to the hearing of the order of the hearing?
No, there isn't.
Perfect. So at this time, I'll ask all of my committee members, does anyone have a declaration of pecuniary interest? No, seeing none. We'll move into the minutes of our previous meeting. If perhaps I can have someone first, member Stanners, and seconded by member Sheik.
And we'll just have the four voting. If that's okay.
Pardon me?
We'll just have the four who's voting on.
Yes. Yes, member Dumering was not present, a member at our committee. He will refrain from voting for this one. So I have before me a recommendation that the minutes of the Township of Mapleton Committee of Adjustment meeting held on January the 11th, 2023, be confirmed as circulated in the agenda package. Were there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? The minutes are carried. Yes, thank you. I apologize for not stating this at the very beginning when I opened the meeting. All of our meetings are live video streamed, so they can be watched on YouTube at any time. So just so that everyone is aware that we are being live streamed. Matters rising from the minutes. Okay, so that brings us to our application. Please note that each hearing of the Committee of Adjustment is based on all the information that's provided to the committee members. The committee shall make decisions based on the 4 tests, and no precedent shall be set. So at this time, we'll move into our first hearing today is hearing number A2023-02. And the location of the subject property is legally described as West Part Lot 1, Concession 1, Peel, and is municipally known as 7989 Wellington Road 86. The purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief from the minimum distance separation to MDS2 setback requirements to the surrounding type A and B land uses. The applicants are proposing to construct a new liquid manure storage area on the subject lands and cannot meet the minimum distance required. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. So at this time, I'd ask our statement by our Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Larry Wheeler, regarding notifications, comments received to date.
Thank you, Chairperson Woodhouse. Staff can confirm that agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice by prepaid first-class mail on March 2nd. Postings were completed on site March 2nd. There were no issues or concerns expressed by Mapleton staff or agencies. County of Wellington planner comments are inside your agenda package. GRCA comments are inside the agenda package. And the planning report by our own Mapleton planner, Linda Redmond, are inside the agenda package. There were no ratepayer comments received. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, I call upon our township planner comments. Ask Linda Redmond for her comments to this application.
Thank you, Chair. So this is a standard MDS2 variance. The applicants are proposing to construct a new liquid manure tank. You can see in the aerial mapping in figure 2, the proposed tank is located within the barn cluster. So from an operational point of view, it makes sense to locate there. It does not meet the setbacks to the nearest type A land uses, which in this case are dwellings. The MDS. Oh, sorry, it's not. It's on. Yeah, is that you, is it not, is it, can you hear? Oh, okay. The MDS2 guidelines require that the setback is measured to the property line, but in this case, I'm sorry, to the actual dwelling. But in this case, for the purposes of this application, I've measured the setbacks to the property lines because these are small dwellings, small parcels adjacent to this farm. And the next application on the agenda today is actually a neighbor and is part of this within this cluster of houses that is affected by this newer manure tank. So I wanted to ensure that that wasn't going to further impact anything. So just to be safe and give it a bit of a buffer to this farm, we've asked the variances to go to the property lines as opposed to the actual dwellings. There's 4 dwellings that are impacted by the MDS ARC. So they're all included in the variances. And we have no concerns with the application. The farm operation is quite intense and has clearly been there a while. There is already a manure tank. This manure tank will improve the situation. So we're always happy to see that. So we have no concerns.
Thank you. At this time, would the owner, Mr. Alvin Bowman, like to speak to the application? Is there anything you'd like to share with us, or if so, then please feel free to come up. You press the red button, introduce yourself, and go from there.
Well, I'd also like to greet you all this afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I was actually pretty impressed how fast this application came through. So thanks to Linda. I didn't know we wouldn't go till April with the March break yet, but so it's basically all that I have to say is at the moment, I do have a liquid manure storage and it's not large enough. So the fact of the matter is it's nothing uncommon that it's overrunning in the spring. So it's a little bit, maybe could say it's actually almost a water issue. So that's basically the reason why we're trying to make another pit. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in attendance who wish to speak to this proposal? If so, please give your name and address and you may come to the podium. Okay, at this time, then I'll go to my committee members. I'll start on my far right. Member Stanners, do you have any questions, concerns to the owner or the applicant or to our planner?
Thank you, Chair. The one thing that I just really enjoyed hearing is that this applicant is aware that he does have a problem with the tank being full in the spring and running over, and he's wanting to do something with it, like that's a good thing that we're thinking about our land and we're just not dumping manure out willy-nilly. And it's also the fact that he can spread manure at the proper time of year, not when ground is frozen or runs into waterways. And so I don't see any increase in livestock on this property. I have no problem with this application at all. I think it is a very smart move. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Kiomo, your questions or concerns?
Yeah, it's just more of a clarification. So as I understand it, this will be a second tank storage that will be constructed.
My understanding is, yes, there's two tanks and they will remain, correct? Two, yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to clarify that. So this is just additional capacity that you'll have to on site. I have no difficulty with this application. Makes sense to me as well.
Thank you. I'll go to my far left, Member Sheik. Do you have any questions or concerns to the planner or the applicant?
Thank you, Chair. So there's a second pit on site. Is the manure storage for both these pits from the waste on site, or is it off-site wastage coming in?
No, this will all be from on site. At the moment, I do have some solid manure storage. So what I want to do is I'm making more capacity due to the fact that my one pit is running over. And then there'll also be some of that solid manure going in there, then there won't be as much solid manure.
And Member Dumering, do you have any questions or concerns to the applicant or to the planner?
Thank you, Chair. No, I don't have any questions or concerns.
Thank you. And I reviewed over this plan myself and it makes sense. And again, I echo some concerns that, or the views that Member Stanner brought up of when we are taking care of our land is always a good thing. So at this time, I think I have before me a recommendation for consideration for the committee. And I have a recommendation that the minor variance applied for in application A 2023-02 located at West Part 1, Lot 1, Concession 1 Peel is municipally known as 7989 Wellington Road 86 to provide the following relief as proposed. And I'm going to read off the two fire numbers on this case, do I? Do I read off the two fire numbers? Okay. So the MDS setbacks to type A use for fire number 7993 Wellington Road 86 to be proposed at 93.2 meters. And that at fire number 7991 Wellington Road 86, the proposed to be 122.4 meters. And yes, Planner Redmond, you would like to clarify something for me?
There's four properties that are impacted.
Okay.
7985 and 7981 Wellington Road 86.
They should all be on the decision. Okay, then. Good thing this is just my first meeting back again. Sorry for the confusion. I shall start over. So I have a recommendation before the committee. And it is that the minor variance applied for A 2023-02 described as West Part Lot 1, Concession 1, to provide the following relief from section 6.17.2 of the Mapleton zoning bylaw. That the new manure tank MDS2 setbacks to type A use for the following. Fire number 7993 Wellington Road 86 be proposed to 93.2 or 305.9 feet. Fire number 7991 Wellington Road 86, proposed 122.4 meter or 401.7 feet. Fire number 7985 Wellington Road 86, proposed 76.2 meter or 249.97 feet. And fire number 7981 Wellington Road 86, proposed 80.4 meter or 263.7 feet. If I could have someone move this. Member Sheik, second by Member Cuomo. Does anyone else have any clarification before I call the question? Okay, calling the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion is granted. And that's just to know that we, the Committee of Adjustment members, are under the opinion that the variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development of the use of the lands, building, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. Therefore, it has passed all 4 tests. So just for your clarification, Mr. Bowman, there is an appeal period. So the decision will be up by April the 10th. And then at that time, you'll be in contact, I'm sure, again with the planning department. So at this time, the hearing is concluded. Thank you for attending. We're just doing the signing of the decisions. And we'll be moving into our next hearing then. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll move into agenda item 5.2. It's hearing number A202303. The location of the subject property is legally described as West Part Lot 1, Concession 1 Peel, municipally known as 7985 Wellington Road 86. The purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief for the rear yard setback to the dwelling. The applicant is proposing to construct an addition onto the residence, which will further encroach into the required rear yard. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. At this time, I'd ask a statement by our Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Larry Wheeler, regarding notifications and comments received to date.
Thank you, Chairperson. Staff can confirm agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice by first-class mail on March 2nd. Postings were completed on site March 2nd. There were no issues or concerns expressed by Mapleton staff or agencies. County of Wellington planner comments are in the agenda package, as are Mapleton's planner Libda Redmond's comments, and there were no ratepayer comments received. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'll call upon our township planner, Libda Redmond, for her comments.
Thank you, Chair. So this property is located directly adjacent to the last one we just dealt with, and it's on Highway Wellington Road 86. The property is zoned agriculture. It falls under the reduced lot ag criteria in the zoning bylaw. The applicants are requesting permission to build an addition onto their house a little bit closer to the rear lot line, the one rear lot line. Because as you can see in figure 1, the property kind of steps back. It's not a straight line. So the rear portion of the house currently does not meet the required setback. They're going to remove a portion of it and rebuild this addition and add on to it. There's a bedroom and laundry room and what have you. This is the best location for it, given the house and the type of addition they're putting on. Also, we did talk to them about, putting it at the side or elsewhere to meet the requirements, but that's where their septic is. And the other side is where their driveway is. And this is where it best functions with the house, with what they're proposing. So this is why the choice was made to leave it where it is. So currently the setback they have right now is only 15.5 feet. They're asking for a reduction to that even further. So the required setback is 24.9, and they would like to have a 10-foot rear yard. They have plenty of space elsewhere on their property, so oftentimes the rear yard acts as an amenity area for the dwelling. They have other areas on the property that would be sufficient for that. So the reduction is minor in our opinion. We have no concerns.
Thank you. Is the owner Peter Weaver here, and would you like to introduce yourself and speak to that, or it's entirely up to you? Okay, well, perhaps we might have questions for you then. And anyone else attending that wish to speak to it? Yes. If you wouldn't mind just going up, sorry.
Well, you obviously know who I am. It's basically this backyard comes right against mine. And I have absolutely no objections towards it. It's actually makes total sense to me. Previously, before they lived there, then there was a single lady living in that house. Now it's a family with 5 children. So it makes a lot of sense to me that they may need more space. And actually, I thought if he would actually build over on my lawn, then I would have less grass to mow. So no objections.
Thank you. Okay, I'll start at my far left this time. Committee member Sheik, if you have any comments or concerns to the owner or to our planner.
I don't really have any questions, but I just think it's a really interesting lot configuration. Must have been, is that a Dorking a plan of subdivision, or is it just like, I don't know, it's really weird. A lot different than a lot of other lots we see in the country, but no further questions.
Thank you. Member Doomering, do you have any questions or concerns?
Thank you. I don't have any questions or concerns, but I do follow Peg when I did the site visit there. There is a bit of a planning mess around there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And to my far right, committee member Stanners, any questions or concerns?
Thank you, Chair. I'm glad we have all these exterior elevation drawings and plot plans. Somebody took some time to draw them all up, and as they've already mentioned ahead of time, these little lots, and I think this stems way back in the days of, yeah, I want that corner to be my corner, and oh, I don't need this and that. And I think that's why these little lots have been built like that. I really don't have a problem with it. I'd rather see it being built on the back of that house than out on the front. Like that highway is just getting busier and busier every day. And I sure wouldn't have any enjoyment putting 2 bedrooms and everything at the front of that house. It would never be quiet, right? So I really have no problem with this one at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Cuomo?
I have no questions or concerns. This makes sense to me.
Perfect. I have no questions or concerns either. So I do have a decision before me. If I can have someone move it for me. Moved first by member Stanner, second by member Doomering. Okay, so I have before me decision A 202303 that the minor variance applied for an application A 202303 described as West Part Lot 1, Concession 1, to provide the following relief from section 8.5.2.4 of the Mapleton zoning bylaw. That the minimum rear yard setback, section 8.5.2.4, requested at 3 meters or 10 feet. Anybody have any other further questions? I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those against? This motion is granted. And the members of the committee, we find that we're in the opinion that the variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate developments of the lands, building, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So again, this has an appeal process. So you have till April the 10th. And then at that time, I'm sure you'll be in touch with the planning. So that concludes the hearing for today. Thank you again for attending. We'll now do signing of decision.
At the moment, we have no applications for next year. But still trying to.
Okay. There you go. Okay, that's under our general business, we have upcoming hearing dates. The next one, April the 12th, but I do believe we don't have any applications yet. But we will say there's still some time. And then mark your calendars for May the 10th would be the following one. So at this time, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. April 12th is like, keep it open. Yes, definitely. Thank you for attending. That was our first meeting, our second term. There we go. I'll call this meeting adjourned. I know. 4:31.